Verstappen, far enough back, he's going to make the lunge down the inside. Verstappen now snatches the championship trophy from Lewis Hamilton.
No making, it was so not right.
But the championship can only be won by one, and it's going Dutch in 2021. Max Verstappen, for the first time ever, is champion of the world.
Oh my lord, Max! Oh my god!
This was 3 months ago. Shut up. Thank you. Here we are then, the new 2022 regulations are finally upon us, promising closer action, even better races, and more drama from the GOAT over here. Hey there guys, I'm Will and welcome to FP1, and the comedy review, which is back and better than ever for the upcoming season. If it's your first time here, this is the show where we take 19 of the fastest men on the planet, as well as this man, and slag them off like we could do any better. So if that sounds appealing, or you end up enjoying the video, be sure to subscribe and drop a like on the video, as that's how I make the most money. But with that out of the way, let's talk about car launch season for 2022.
All the guys in town follow you.
So the first team to reveal their car were Haas, and for the first time in a while, there was actually some optimism surrounding the American team. We all know that they threw their 2021 car in the bin to focus on this year, and many were excited to see what Mad Lad Maz and Mick Schumacher would be piloting in 2022. The livery reveal was first, and well, I'll let my live reaction do the talking. Right, it's got 11 o'clock. Let's refresh. Oh, for fuck's sake, it's the same livery. Oh, how badly this statement would age. Yeah, we'll get to that. When the real VF22 hit the track a week later, it did admittedly raise a few eyebrows among the paddock, with many features unique to the rest of the grid. Now, will this be the Brawn 2.0 or just a piece of shit rolled in glitter? I'll leave it up to you in the comments. The Red Bull launch should have brought with it many questions, but instead just left us with one. What was the point? We waited half an hour to be presented with just the show car, featuring pretty much the same livery, which would only be changed a few days later. Hey, at least they were nice to those who were butthurt over the championship still. I mean, it's not like they brought it up much at all.
The reigning F1 world champion Max Verstappen, and the final race had everything. We saw Max bring home the driver's trophy. Last season, Red Bull Racing pulled out all the stops to win the world championship.
The hybrid era of Formula One has been about Mercedes-Benz.
I don't know about you, but that brought back all the drama. It is safe to say that our boys really delivered season and thought
all the way through to that final in Abu Dhabi. Now we have that number one on the car, is to keep it on the car. The target is to try and, obviously retain the title.
It's only Checo Perez and reigning world champion Max Verstappen. How does it feel to be starting this season as the reigning champion?
We gave it all until the very last lap of the season.
Next up to drop their 2022 machine was Aston Martin, who became the first F1 team to have an Android launch their new car.
Can you tell us a little bit about what it meant to bring the name Aston Martin back into the sport of Formula One?
Sure. Aston Martin re-entered Formula One in 2021 after an absence of more than 60 years.
They clearly seem to have forgotten his emotional package today. They also tried to de-age Sebastian Vettel by 10 years in a bid to make him quick again. However, despite these issues, at least the Aston car had a bit of a glow-up compared to 2021, and in my opinion is one of the best looking cars on the grid this year. On the flip side, let's get to McLaren's launch, and admittedly I've got to be a bit careful. I mean, we all know how angry their fans get if I raise so much as a bad word about the team. It was nice then that the outfit decided to appeal to their 5-year-old average fan base this year, letting them wander around the MTC on Roblox, and giving them the taste of what life could be like if they had more than half a brain cell. The car does look better once it's out on track, but I just think it's too busy, and overall I'm not a huge fan of this one. Can't wait to watch Twitter crucify me just for that. Anyway, as Valentine's Day rolled around and I joined my fellow single men in crying in the corner of my bedroom, we at least had the AlphaTauri launch to distract us from our lonely existence. But with the drivers walking out of the metaverse, along with some corpses they'd put nice clothes on, it didn't take too long for us to get a good look at the AT03. And it's another solid looking car in my book. Kinda getting 2000 BMW vibes from it. Anybody else? Speaking of, Williams were next to launch their car with a new livery and new driver in Alex Albon, who makes his return to Formula 1 after Red Bull fed into his own cats at the end of 2020. The other shock of the launch was Nicholas Latifi, who in response to all the death threats post-Abu Dhabi, revealed he'd learned how to use the Force in the reveal video. I'm struggling to find more jokes here, so let's move on to the biggest one in the sport, as Ferrari went back to the 90s with their new SF75. Charles Leclerc and Carlos Sainz returned from their shift at McDonald's to reveal a striking new car for 2022. Wonder what happened the last time they did that. That vacuum cleaner atrocity aside, there was a sense from the other teams that they were looking at the Ferrari and going, oh shit, we could be in trouble. But we'll have to wait till the first race to find out for sure. Now, despite the FIA being Ferrari's retirement home these days, there appeared to be some cross wires between the two parties, as the sport's governing body opted to steal the show by announcing they'd looked at the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix in detail and concluded that Michael Massey should be told to f**k off. Sorry, I mean move to another role. So while he serves chips in the FIA cantina, it was over to reigning champions Mercedes to release the W13, reverting to an updated silver livery without the hideous AMG stickering on the back. For this launch, I wanted to try something a little different and introduce a new segment to the comedy review called What They're Really Thinking. This is where we take an interview and I tell you what they're really thinking. Don't really need that explanation, but it, we'll leave it here. Anyway, here's the Merc team boss, Toto Wolff.
Yeah, good to see you again, and hi everybody, good morning. Obviously, there was this shadow with the driver championship, with Lewis's championship, that the Abu Dhabi situation, but let's look into the future.
That's enough to get Twitter going again, so let's move on.
It was a big day yesterday with the FIA president announcing a restructure and some changes to the race refereeing. What's your response to that?
I think it's very encouraging to see that action has been taken.
Michael Massey's a cunt.
Tell me about the mindset of the team and the challenges that lie ahead, and, you know, are you ready for this?
Yes, so the mindset of the team has always been the same over the last few years, is that the point count goes back to zero.
There's always the chance we f this up, so I'm saying this now to cover my ass if we have.
No credits to be taken, but also no sense of entitlement. Like every year we are skeptical whether we've done a good enough job.
Thing is, people will believe this shit.
For me, the two best moments every year is when you fire up for the first time, which happened very early with us in December, and then the second moment is when the car is actually being put together. And
also number 3, when we win the title. Wait, shit, no entitlement.
Normally you would say about the driver, they come and they drive and they go, but with Lewis, he's become an integral part of the team.
Which is why we were all bricking it when it looked like he was going to retire.
10 years is quite an amazing time.
Well, the driver lineup has changed, the first time since 2017, welcoming George Russell in, but I feel like, you know, it's home from home for him. He's been part of the family for a very long time, but how is he adapting to being fully immersed in the team?
And I'm personally very excited to see him.
And I'm even more excited to have gotten rid of Bottas at last. Anyway, let's move on to the final launch before testing, with Alpine, who were promoting the return of BWT and Pink to the grid after Aston Martin told the water company to go do one. The outfit also has a new leader in Otmar Safnauer, who revealed what he was sniffing before signing the contract.
And I tried to bring a really strong glue, so...
From the rumours going on at Enstone, I think you're going to need some more of that. Now, if you know me, then you'll know I hate pink cars. But despite the French team taking inspiration from Ferrari before revealing their machine to the world, the integration with the blue looks better than I expected. I mean, I was worried they'd just go all pink again. I mean, God, imagine that. Oh, for f***'s sake. So, with my new sleep paralysis demon haunting me every night, we only had one car left to launch. And if you're wondering why this channel's been dead for the last few weeks, blame Alfa Romeo for waiting till after the first test to reveal their 2022 car. And add to that a relatively underwhelming launch and livery, it doesn't feel like a good enough note to end the video on. So let's instead spend some time talking about the first official test. Or, sorry, shakedown, because it's not a test. Remember, that's why there's no footage of it, because it's a shakedown. The lack of footage was compounded with a lack of red flags on the first day, making it really difficult for channels like mine, as typically we need a driver to cock up so we can take the piss. But the McLaren stands were at least happy at the end, with Lando Norris ending day one fastest. The new cars did seem to be getting on well with the Barcelona track, but maybe too well. as footage of Charles Leclerc's Ferrari humping the main straight went viral on Pornhub. The issue, dubbed porpoising, was affecting many of the teams, and will be something they'll need to rectify heading into Bahrain, especially as I'm not quite sure what type of relationship that would count as over there. Day 2 saw many teams test an alternative use for their F1 cars, as barbed wire fences were installed as a means to humanely kill animals that took the stupid decision to stroll out onto the track. Meanwhile, Sergio Perez's Red Bull decided just to kill itself, halting the Mexicans running in the RB18. A second stoppage was caused by this channel's favourite driver, and I held out on it before, but given the situation, it's about time I think we checked it on Haas Watch.
Bunch of wanko.
Well, we could have just seen the last of Mad Lad Maz in Formula 1. It's an upsetting prospect, I know, but we've got to talk about this. Russia's invasion of Ukraine on Thursday shouldn't really have caused any problems for the Haas team, as their livery is the red, white and blue of America, and doesn't depict the banned Russian flag whatsoever. Oh, when it does. That's not very good, is it? At least Mazepin did his best to make the situation even worse. One Jeremy Clarkson tweet later, and the Russian driver faces the real possibility of losing his drive for 2022, with all the Raucoli branding stripped from the cars for the final day of testing in Barcelona. And this obviously puts me in a difficult situation as well. With 90% of my joke material gone, who knows how I'll cope. Anyway, if you want my honest thoughts, if a Raucoli are kicked out the door, I think Haas will take great pride in yeeting Nikita out with them, with Pietro Fittipaldi already integrated with the team and ready to step up if he needs to. Hey, I mean, it could be one of those rare cases where the reserve driver's better than the main one, though Mazepin's a low bar, let's not lie here. Now, I'll probably do a part 2 to pre-season after the second test, where hopefully we'll have more answers, but going back to Barcelona, and Mercedes would finish with a 1-2 performance, so hashtag blessed ahead of Russell, while Otmar's glue didn't stop Alonso blowing up and ending Alpine's day early. We now have a week's wait before the cars are back out in Bahrain for the real official test, and I'll probably be reacting live to some of these sessions over on my Twitch, so be sure you're following me on there as well. Anyway, that brings an end to part 1 of the pre-season comedy review. I'll be back before the start of the season to discuss Bahrain and whether we'll ever see Mazepin again. In the meantime, drop a comment and a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and of course a big thank you to all the patrons for supporting this video, but I'll see you all in the next one.